Hey YouTube, RicoKnows here. You guys know the deal. I'm doing a hidden gem for every single team going into the 2024 college football season. So I've identified one player on each team that I'm going to talk about, and not many people are talking about it. It's kind of hard to do when these teams have fanatical fans. So I already did a video on Colorado. If you want to see all the previous teams that are done, go check the playlist. But for this one, we're doing Alabama. And when I look at Alabama, I have to decide who am I going to talk about that not everybody's talking about. And it sucks because everybody's great. I want to talk about Jam Miller. I want to talk about Justice Haynes. I want to talk about players that, that are kind of off the radar just a little bit, Keon Sabb, stuff like that. But when I watch the spring game, when I look at this roster and I know the coaching staff and I know what they're trying to do, there's only one player that I need to tell you guys you should all be knowing. Like everybody should be knowing. And that is wide receiver Germie Bernard. He's right below me down here. Let's talk about it. When you look at the wide receivers at Alabama and what they lost in the transfer portal, Isaiah Bond departs, right? Shout out to Buford, Georgia's finest. But Isaiah Bond goes to Texas. Can't blame him. Coach left. He's looking for a new beginning. Goes out and gets paid. More power to him. Amari Niblack did the same thing. Then Malik Benson goes to Florida State. Didn't quite work out. And I told you it wouldn't, right? My prediction was Malik Benson is not as great as everybody said he was. When he came out, I got so many messages every single day telling me I need to make a video on Malik Benson. I finally did. I pulled up the tape and I said, guys, this just looks like a JUCO wide receiver. I don't know what it's all about. All right, Ja'Cory Brooks going to Louisville. I think he'll have a big year. Shout out to Louisville. But losing a guy like Ja'Cory Brooks, Malik Benson, Isaiah Bond, what receiver core in this world can lose those three guys and still be acceptable? They can lose, like, you know how people say, like, Colorado's got the best receiver room or whatever, right? These three guys could go there and be the best wide receiver there they've ever seen. And there's three of them, and they're all gone. And Alabama's wide receiver room is still stacked. It's still stacked. And it's because they went out and got Germie Bernard. They only signed one wide receiver. You lose three, and you only sign one, and you only bring in one. Well, there's not many options in the transfer portal that are better than what you already have on the roster. We can talk about it here. Kobe Prentice can really play. Kendrick Law, not a scrub, right? And then everybody talks about five-star Ryan Williams coming in. Yeah, I got you, man. But there's a guy in Germie Bernard that is physically developed, that has been getting mentored by the greatest wide receivers coaches, fellow wide receivers. This guy is him. And I'm so excited to see what Germie Bernard does at Alabama. I think he's going to have a great year. Yeah, let me show you something. Germie Bernard's first year in college was at Michigan State. So coming out of high school, verbally commits to Washington, then flips at the last second and goes to Michigan State. Get to Michigan State, and you show up to your wide receiver room, and the receivers at Michigan State at that time were Keon Coleman, okay, Jaden Reed, and Trey Mosley. Those three, Trey Mosley was a senior at the time, those three were the alpha males in that room. They got all the reps. They did everything. But there's this young kid down here, Germie Bernard. And when he got his opportunities, he did score 2 touchdowns. He was spectacular. What's more important is he passed some more senior guys on the depth chart, right? Passing Cade McDonald, to me, was a big deal because Cade McDonald was high school teammates with Jaden Reed, high school teammates with Peyton Thorne. Like this, they were the triumvirate that came in, the three-headed monster, and everybody goes, man, here's this Germie Bernard kid. Now, he's not on the field. He's getting frustrated. But once again, there's three senior guys way ahead of you. So he says, all right, I'm going to go back home. I'm going to transfer back to Washington. And he goes into Washington last year. He transfers in Michael Penix Jr. And once again, three wide receivers ahead of him on the depth chart. But who are the three wide receivers? Three NFL guys. So back-to-back years that this guy's been in college, he's just been behind these. Now, he's been kickoff returning. He's been doing other things. But he finally got 34 receptions. He finally got some real play, 419 yards and 2 touchdowns again. But Germie Bernard is just waiting his time. I'm behind three NFL guys. I'm behind three. Over and over and over, he's behind NFL guys. And now you get to Alabama, and if you watch the spring game, Germie Bernard is behind no one. Germie Bernard is ready. Now he's 6'1", 203. And this is why those young freshmen, those young 4 or 5-star players who think they're going to be great, you have to understand there are young men ahead of you on the depth chart who had the same aspirations you have, who had the same accolades you have, who have the same talent and potential that you have. You just need to sit tight. You're at a perennial power. You're at a blue blood. You're at a star school with star players. It's going to take some time. And here we are, third year in college. Germie Bernard is ready. And I think the coaches know it. They weren't panicking. They weren't scrambling to go sign a bunch of random people in the transfer portal that could just kind of fill up rosters and scholarships, if you will. I'm sorry. But Alabama fans, you have a wide receiver that has been just cooking in the oven. And now we're pulling him out, and that dude is ready. You ever pulled out a muffin or a cookie out the oven too early? Shit is just kind of raw, and you're like, oh, what is this? Or you wait too late, and then you're like, man, that dude was burnt. That dude was terrible. But if you pull him out at just the right time, all Diddy, you got yourself something great, man. And I think Germie Bernard's going to have an amazing season. Shout out to him. Shout out to Alabama. They're going to do pretty decent, given all the departures, all the turnover, all the lack of continuity within the coaching staff, and the program in general. They looked really crisp in the spring game. I was worried about the defense. I still am. It doesn't look as effective as it should. I see guys like Germani Jackson getting beat downfield. I see guys not making plays when they need to. But I also know that offense is just explosive, and they kind of hit the ground running. The coaching staff really wants to ensure they score points and they stay competitive in games, and that's what I saw. I saw a very, very good offense. Shout out to Jam Miller, Justice Haynes, all these guys. But going into next season, if there's one player the fans need to believe in and the fans need to know about, it's Germie Bernard. That guy is going to be an alpha male in that wide receiver room. He's ready, and I think you guys should be excited about his prospects. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Talk to you guys next time.